I'm going to tell all of the regionals, VPs,
Say it.
properties, hire with heart.
Mm-hmm.
You hire that individual who has the heart to make your property better, to be an asset to your team.
But you cannot teach people to care. And I mean, if you have one of those, just grab it and keep it.
If you are gonna just trying to hire somebody right away to fill a spot, just because that's gonna cost you money. It's gonna cost you time. It's gonna actually stress your team.
It is.
You know. All right. Welcome to Multifamily of the Cuff, episode number 14.
14.
Awesome. So, Irene, let me introduce you to Ashley.
Hey, Ashley, how are you?
I'm
Welcome.
good. Thank you. Thank you
Ashley,
for having me.
Thank you for coming on board. I mean, this is exciting because you are the first leasing agent coming into the show.
Yay.
Glad to be that addition for you guys.
Yes, we still haven't brought maintenance yet.
Yeah. No.
So that's the next episode. That's for sure. We're working towards that. But we're super excited because for many people that start in the industry, that's the first step. This is how everything starts. One of the coolest things that I've noticed is when they share their different name tags from leasing to assistant manager, property, regional.
that.
So that's super cool. Have you seen it?
I do. I see it. We have our little Yammer Facebook thing that we do, and that's where everybody kind of posts everything, and then of course on LinkedIn, which is really nice to see as well.
Right. So I've seen that a lot. So and everything starts from there, and that's like the backbone of the industry because you know you are pretty much the face of one of their biggest assets, especially those owners expecting you to make everything happen. So everything starts from you.
Because we uphold the company.
Right. So tell me, if you don't mind, how long have you been? Tell me a little bit more about you and how long have you been in the industry?
Funny story. So I was kind of born into this.
Oh, wow.
My dad is a maintenance supervisor. He is HVAC pool certified. He's been a supervisor for about 30 years now.
Okay.
And then my mom was mortgage broker. My grandparents owned the mortgage company. My aunt and uncles are, where my uncles are construction, and then my aunt owned the real estate company. And then my dad worked for Carroll, and then I really liked the way that, he was just constantly involved. He was in the projects. He was, meeting everyone, and I really liked the golf carts. So I was like, I gotta see what's up with this golf cart life.
I don't play golf, but this is something.
But I like this style.
I
Yeah. So, one day I was living in my apartment and I saw that they had a posting. So I went over, had an interview. They required a certain level of degree that I just didn't have. I was new. And I got this interview at another company. They loved me. They hired me on spot, and I've been in the industry ever since.
For how long now?
Going on a little over 3 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet.
Customer service for 10 plus, but definitely.
And that helped you tremendously, I bet.
Oh my gosh. I used to install trailer siding on the trailers. I used to cut down trees. I was a waitress. I was a teacher. You name it, I probably did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now, speaking on this new venture of yours, well, not so new now, but so tell me a little bit more about what are your struggles and what it is your responsibilities. So this podcast is dedicated to many, and a lot of them either they're planning on becoming a leasing agent or suppliers partners that don't understand what your position is, if you don't mind.
So your leasing agent is you wear many hats.
Okay.
So if you're getting into the industry, just kind of have the mindset that you are here to genuinely help people.
Okay.
You are helping their livelihood, their families, their kids, the roof over their head. So you need to kind of have the mindset that you are going to serve them at a certain extent. And with that mindset, you are going to go very far.
Okay.
Now, as far as your suppliers and your vendors go, you know, you're kind of front line. You know, you gotta get in good with your gatekeepers, because your gatekeepers or your leasing agents, they're gonna have this experience with you, and they're going to take that right back to their property managers, their maintenance supervisors, and they are going to help build that trust that you're going to need with your property managers.
Okay.
So your leasing agents, they're your counselor, your therapist. I mean, they'll go and unlock your door for you. Financial advisors, legal advisors.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of do it all. We're your troubleshooters on your laptops and phones, and you know, we're your mini trade people. But if you're in the industry, it's a great industry to be in. There's a lot of learning to it. Your interactions with everybody, every time you have an interaction, you are literally learning something from that, and the next experience is just 10 times better.
Sweet. So now, because you know, we don't work so much. Or the intention of the podcast is not towards residents whatsoever, but we are, you know, focused on people that are involved with the industry direct, and especially supplier partners. That's why I like to teach them the best. So, what is a bad practice from a supplier partner when it comes to encountering with leasing agents?
Don't fight the ID. Just
Oh.
just release the ID. It's okay. You
Really?
get it
Do
right
they
back.
fight it?
Oh my god.
Oh, well, they don't know the industry.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well,
when they do that, I mean...
It's like it's an inconvenience, but it's security.
yeah, but I mean, you have to do
You
it.
have
Like,
to.
I don't have it with me.
I can't release that key. So now I messed up your schedule because you couldn't give me the ID.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, really, really important for your suppliers and your leasing team to know each other by name. Introduce yourself. If you've never been to the property, come on in, just meet the team. That's who you're going to be getting the keys from. It's really nice to, you know, kind of walk in and be like, oh, hey, Fernando, how are you today? You know,
Right.
Here's the key. Thanks. I'll see you in a little bit. But know a name, you know, start a conversation. Don't just come in, you know, hand the ID and say, oh, I need this key. You know, kind of be a little bit more personal. Polite. You know, we're all kind of isolated right now and, you know, introverted. So having conversation is kind of like, oh, no.
Well, remember
have
the
to
time,
talk.
there was a time one of our Christina specialists, they lost her driver license in one apartment.
That's different.
Yes. And she was really
upset.
pissed
Well,
because
I
she
could
was
feel
traveling.
that.
Yeah, I mean, she was traveling that weekend, and it was on a Wednesday. And she was like, you know how many issues you're causing me just because you. And we went and talked to them like, hey, how can you just lost her driver license?
No,
And
leasing.
I mean,
Yeah, put it in a safe spot.
yeah, exactly.
Safe spot, same spot
Yes,
for everyone.
exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
switch it up. Don't leave it on your desks. Put it in a secure location. Keep it there, and that way, when that vendor comes in or supplier
you
comes
just-
in,
Right.
boop,
Yeah.
boop, make the trade and enjoy your weekend. Travel away.
Yeah, I mean, she was really, 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 and I mean, obviously, it wasn't a nice experience. We have to pay. I mean, I told her because she was so frustrated, and I just didn't want her to hate the industry for it. Like, I mean, it's
Mistakes happen.
Yeah, mistakes happen. So I told her, I'm gonna pay for your driving license. Just go to the office and, you know, like just pay for it, and we will pay for it. So just don't worry. But that was one thing that we experienced.
Right.
That at some point we were thinking on making IDs, like you know,
so
like a
we
company
still-
ID.
We still are. So
That's-
we're gonna
Yeah.
do IDs instead of them using their own.
That's
so-
awesome.
So you can actually see the ID and exchange.
Yeah,
all
with
that.
the picture
And the company,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
gonna
and
be
that
great.
and you will know what company is in there because you know sometimes we have seen too that they think it's another company that it's doing the job.
Right. So what else do you have to say as far as you know, they have the ID issue? Is there anything else? What about, you know, they like, you know, our guests, you know, previous to you mentioned about trying to pretend that they know the person, or so anything else that you want to add into that you see from a supplier partner, when they encounter you.
Yeah, trade shows.
Okay.
We're all kind of mingling, we're doing our thing, we're conversating, and you can tell that when you walk up to a supplier's booth, especially when you're in like your squad of your office team, they know who the property manager is, and it almost feels like
they ignore you.
Yeah,
they just go straight to
Really?
That's rude.
and that even though you put your little business card in that fishbowl, part of me feels
but they don't take
like
yours.
it's almost like they grab it and they're like,
Listen.
find your nearest property manager.
It's fixed. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm sorry, guy. I had to say
Absolutely.
it. I had to say this is called multifamily off the cuff for a reason.
Yeah.
We don't sugarcoat anything. The majority of trade shows prices are fixed. Okay,
Yeah.
so
It's like, oh, where's the property manager
Yeah.
card in here? Oh,
Yeah.
I found one.
yeah,
That's our
where's
winner.
So find the regional, the VP, and then you see them walking out with all this bunch of gift and all that.
And all the stuff on the table
That's
is for the leasing team.
Also, guys, if you're a vendor, please don't do that. That doesn't buy you business, okay?
Give us
Exactly,
a chance.
like, I mean.
Give us a chance.
Yeah.
We really do.
You will become the manager one day and the regional one day.
Not only that,
But I'm
I know
kidding.
that, but it's true. But not only that, they the property manager and the regionals, they know that their leasing team is the one that gets the lease, and they always encourage, like, hey, listen, I have my team here, include them.
Yes.
I love when I see that.
No, me too. It's so good. It's a good
Yeah.
environment to be in. Gosh, when you're just kind of a leasing
Yeah, that's
agent
not
and shoot
fair.
to the side.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not fair.
So I've seen that. It's a bad practice, okay? However, I'm gonna also defend. I have to defend the supplier partners. They are on a quota. They need to meet numbers. So they need to make connections. They need to sell something, And at the time, they are under pressure. So they need to close the deal, let's say the property that you work for. So they feel that by talking to you might not lead into a sale. So they need to speak to the person that make the decision, So they're under pressure. Something that we don't do, the company that we do represent, is to put pressure. Because this is a patient game. It's something that's a long-term game. It's something that we're here to solve a problem and an issue, and that's what we need to do. Recently, I saw on LinkedIn a guy that got promoted to property manager and escaped the assistant property position. He went from leasing straight up to property manager. The reason, I know, the reason that happened is because he was working for a property management. It got sold. He remained in the new company. They didn't have a property manager. He applied for it and said, "Listen, I've done this job. I know the property. I know exactly what to look for." Apply and got the job. So that happened to him. It was great to see. And then it reminded me that every time I came by the property, I will always say hello to him and the other person. I will chit chat with them for a minute, and build that rapport because it's cool. Now, not every industry is going to get an involvement with leasing. Like if I'm providing roofing services, that might not to do with you directly, right? But if you're providing services like we do, we're indirect with you because guess what? I'm now providing services to your client, not the client. Your client is going to be that prospect that you're talking to, that you just got in the lease signed because you are the person that made it happen for them to have their new home, right? So our responsibility right now is to make sure that that unit is perfectly fine, because otherwise they're gonna say Ashley wasn't paying attention, that my house is all dirty and so now I'm affecting your reputation, right? So they might go and throw a bad review. I went here, I talked to this girl named Ashley, and when I got into the property,
That Ashlyn. Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
So oh my God,
Gotta
and,
get her.
but my unit wasn't even clean. She didn't pay attention to that, right? So they're not gonna point out the company that did a bad job. It's
We
gonna
are the
say
one.
Ashley did. You know, they're gonna remember you because you were the person they were interacting with.
Yep.
So our responsibility is with you, not even with the property manager himself. It's with you. I always say that. I like to get involved with the leasing team because sometimes you are the one inspecting this apartment, and you can be our worst nightmare. So for our audience, if you are painting, cleaning, okay, they can become your nightmare. If you are a friend with the property manager, but the leasing team hates you because every unit that you do is not right, they're going to convince the property manager to get rid of you.
Gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers again, okay?
So
This is
next
important.
time we go to a trade show, we're not gonna accept any business card for regionals or manager. We're just gonna take
I'm fine with that.
leasing agents
I'll
and
be right over
yeah.
at that booth.
I mean, we have to change. We have
Yeah.
to. You
Yeah,
have
we
to make
can-
a positive
We
impact.
can put a sign that says
No regionals, no manager.
allow only
You
leasing
guys
agent.
won last year. We're good. We're going to open up the floor.
Exactly. Yeah.
What? So for this next, hey, but you already said our secret that this is our approach. So now everyone knows about it. But you know what?
Well, I mean, it's good
But you know
because
what?
it's a good practice. So we have to make an impact.
Right.
We have to have
If
everyone
we
doing
do
the same.
everyone do that,
Exactly.
all the property managers are gonna hate us.
Well, like, we can start from them. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna put my card. Take my leasing agent, right? Like they
I
can,
like
they
it.
can, they can make a change to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because the leasing team really looks forward to it every
Exactly,
year.
like-
Every year.
Really?
I
Like
mean,
if you never,
I'm
if you never have the
waiting.
chance,
yeah.
like I mean,
And last year it was my first one.
Okay.
Because I wasn't, COVID and everything. And finally I was able to go. I was doing
Did
my
you go to the
thing.
one this year?
I did.
Okay.
And
you saw that and you're like, no.
I knew I won like 2 of those things. And I followed up. I was like, hey, just kind of checking in. Did anybody win? And they're like, oh, yeah, like 15 minutes ago. And I'm like, but the trade show's not over. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And then you
because
just,
my car was the only one there.
it's like, man,
Just one car and not another person was calling. You're like, what?
leasing agents like table saws too. Okay, we
Yeah.
do. We like them too.
Yeah. So for this part, I want our audience to understand the importance of the leasing person in house. First off, our leasing agents. Okay, that's their actual official name. It's not a leasing girl. It's not, no, because some people
we
say
have
the leasing
seen,
girl.
yeah.
No, it's the leasing agent. Okay, there are men and women in there. Their jobs are to make sure that those prospects coming in, they not convince them, but to show them, the benefits of the property. So if you're a landscaper, just keep in mind that there is a route that, that they're going to take them from the clubhouse. There is a specific route from the clubhouse all the way to the model unit. So guys, if you provide services, make sure that path is spotless, because you need to help them. This is something I tell them. I teach this. Like, if you're a landscaper, you ask the question, hey, listen, I want to make sure that when you have prospect, which way do you take it? Because I want that to be the most beautiful part of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, not saying that the entire property is not important, but that one is very important.
Your tour
Yeah.
path.
Yeah,
that's
the third
everything.
part. That's if you are a cleaning company, and you had the chance to do the model, make sure the model is done before 9:00 in the morning. That it's spotless. That's the first thing you do, because at 9:01 somebody's walking through it.
Yep.
Things like that are important. And a lot of people, if they don't really understand the industry, they might not even think about the stuff. They might leave the model for last. I'm like, listen, bro. Turn your brain on. God, geez. So it's just things that don't come as a common sense. If they, not that we have been in the, we never worked inside the industry per se, but we provided services to the industry. And me for 17 years. So I really understand everything. That's what
the
makes
ins
it.
and outs.
Yes. And I have the chance to speak to leasing agents, and we sat and then we, at trade shows, we just hang out and then just like to listen exactly their struggles. And a lot of them has been not being acknowledged. So I hear
We have to change that.
We need to change
We
that.
do.
We
We
need to
do.
change that.
We need to
So,
change it.
And then we have in this share, we have BPs, we have regionals. And every time they said, I've been in the industry for 20 years, guess what? They started as a leasing agent.
Yes.
So I don't understand why.
Like 98% of the time is
Yeah, nobody just jumped from nobody, and then become a property manager without being a leasing agent.
And I think right now too, when people are trying to hire and they're hiring on experience, as far as resume goes, and I'm gonna tell all of the regionals, VPs,
Say it.
properties, hire with heart. You hire that individual who has the heart to make your property better, to be an asset to your team. Just because on that resume it didn't have that specific, requirement for that job position does not mean that individual is not capable of learning that.
Okay.
Hire and
we always
promote
say
with
that
heart.
you can teach everything, like everything that as far of knowledge, like system knowledge or a specific knowledge for the industry, you can teach that, but you cannot teach people to care. And I mean, if you have one of those, just grab it and keep it.
Grab that person,
Yes.
keep them, promote them,
Yes.
embrace them, because they are only going to make your company better. Don't hire with what's on. I mean, yes, of course, there are things that you have to look at, certain skills, but when you get that person in front of you, or even if you have them in front of you right now, if they've got the heart for this industry, you should promote them,
Yes.
hire them, and give them exactly what's theirs worth,
This
because
is
they're going to
gonna-
return it.
This is gonna be a badass podcast, and this is something that it's gonna be dedicated to regionals and property managers, and I think that's gonna be the title of this. This is gonna be the dedication for property managers and regionals, because what you have said,
The eye opener.
right?
I hope. I hope
mean,
so.
It
Yeah,
has
and
to
that's
change.
true. It is very
Yes.
true. To hire people because of their heart and because of the care. We've seen that less and less. Excuse me. We've seen that less and less every time. And there is another factor of not knowing, numbers and understanding of how the property, the property works. They just teach them, you just enter this number here, there, and then just go with a formula, and then boom. But
Right.
they don't understand where those numbers come from or what do they even
Who's
mean.
behind the numbers?
What's behind the numbers, So, and then also, if you are caring for understanding the business, this, what she just has, Ashley just said, to care and then grab that person, right? Because if that person care, that person is going to care about knowing what those numbers are for. And then therefore, they're going to make better decisions for the benefit of the actual asset that they're working for, So I don't understand why it's being put aside, or like you say, they might see a good resume, but they don't see the personal aspect of what is a person really care for.
Majority of those resumes that you're seeing are copy and pasted.
Oh yeah, by all
So you have
means.
an awesome resume. No, you got to have a conversation.
Yes.
But even, I think right now people are so stressed being short-staffed, and then, the on-site teams are also stressed because they're short-staffed. So, it's like a domino effect of what's going on. But if you look within, you might not run into these problems. Don't hire out of stress, because you will have a turnover. Your stress guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed within 6 months you will have turnover
or less.
Yeah.
And that is something like we've seen. What is this guy's name? I just have a brain fart here with Tony Robbins. One of the things he says is hire slow and fire fast. But to take the time to really hire somebody, because that's an investment, or it can be a waste of time and money if you don't put the time and effort to understand. And also cheat on when you cheat on your integrity as a company because of convenience. Like you said, it's domino effect. If you are gonna just trying to hire somebody right away to fill a spot, just because, that's gonna cost you money. It's gonna cost you time. It's gonna actually stress your team.
It is.
Maybe at times you might find this wrong person because quote unquote they have a good resume, but nobody cared to understand if that person actually has a good caring for the industry.
Right.
And then they might actually become the worst nightmare in the office, and even make other people uncomfortable, that you might not only lose a person because you had to fire this person, but you lose another great employees because of that one bad apple.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, so that was amazing, actually, for you to bring that up. I'm sure that a lot of managers in regional can actually learn a little bit from the inside of somebody like yourself that have seen it, you
I
know?
hope.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be brave enough to say the truth, and because we're not saying anything that it's
It's not a secret.
It's not a secret for anyone.
Right.
So
Nobody just wants to admit it.
exactly. So
And that's what we're here for.
exactly.
We say it like it is.
Podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we say it like it is. And-
Yes.
Put it out there.
Oh yeah. So when we were trying to find a name, and then Irene came up with the off the cuff, meaning we were gonna call it something raw or
Yeah,
something like that,
raw, whatever.
something right, and then this was more professional.
Yeah.
But meaning that we weren't gonna hesitate to say it like it is. Okay. We've been pretty open.
Yeah.
And we have said many things.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that it's just because it helps. It really helps.
Yeah.
It's like comedians. It's
They
so funny.
they say the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you laugh because it's true.
It's true.
We trust them. We trust it.
Right.
Yes.
So-
That's good.
But Ashley, thank you so much for being
you.
part of this.
Of course.
We'll always remember the first one of everything.
Yes.
So
I loved this. This is great.
Yeah. So tune in if you haven't. Tune
I
in
will.
and you can listen to the other ones that we've done. This is gonna come after. We will let you know. And then for our audience, this is a great information here.
Yes.
Just take it. I mean, if you're listening to our show, always listening to the open mind as a business owner. And then, if you are a supplier partner, just open your mind and be like, how can we help the industry? If you're listening to, Ashley, which holds the position as a leasing agent, how can you help her after you had listened to her frustrations?
Yes.
If you want to help a property manager and so forth, all the information that we share with you is valuable.
Yep.
So it will help you, be a better business owner or a better service provider. And then if you are want to become part of the industry, you have to learn also, how to do certain things
Yes.
and to actually care.
Yes.
Make sure
have
you
to
put that out
care.
there.
And just, take pride in everything you do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All righty, Ashley, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
thank you
me.
for the listeners. Irene, anything else?
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for speaking the truth.
Always.
We really appreciate that. And for all of you guys, if you want to be part of the podcast, just shoot us an email. Let us know, feedback, whatever. Just send us an email. We will see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.